Hi friend, thank you for coming back to watch part 2 of my culture shock experience in the United States. If this is the first video you're seeing on my culture shock experience, you should know that there is a part 1 that you can find here or in the description box below. I have loads of stories for you in that one, so do watch it and be entertained. My name again is Esther. If you have not subscribed, the subscribe button is right down below. Ensure that you subscribe, and if you're enjoying this video, please give this video a thumbs up so more Nigerians and other people across the globe can also watch this video as well. Thank you so much. So let's get into the rest of my experience so far. Category I want to talk about is in terms of dining, and the first thing I want to discuss here is, how people go Dutch in the United States when eating out. What I mean by going Dutch is everybody pays their bills. If somebody says somebody's celebrating birthday or somebody's celebrating anniversary or whatever, and they invite you to come to a restaurant, please and please carry your wallets from your house, carry your card. That they invited you is for you to come and be there and celebrate with them. You will pay your bills. You will pay your bills. When I newly came, I struggled to understand that concept. It was somehow, how in Nigeria, if you invite people, you know that you're ready to cater for their bills. But here it is not seen. Another thing that I also noticed in the United States is soda. Soda. Hey, to your law. There are some places that you go that soda is even free. There are some places that I've gone to in this United States. You just can carry soda. The way they open soda anyhow, like sugar in this United States, I don't know if I should say they celebrate it or something. I don't know, but it's just something I find like. And we thought we're eating sugar in Nigeria. No, I feel like the sugar consumption in this place is no, it's quite high. In terms of dining, another thing that I struggled with was the idea of giving tips at restaurants. When you go out to restaurants to eat and dine with your friends and you get your bills, at the end you will see where you're supposed to put a tip amount that you want to give. I used to struggle with it, like give tip for what? After I've paid, especially when you go to some big restaurants, you've seen the bill that you have paid already, you still not tell you to add tip. For what now? For what? Are you people not collecting salary? Don't mind me. But just as a Nigerian, that was not something we were used to. If you want to give tips, it's usually probably the waitress just hyping you one way or the other for you to give them tips. But this one, it's a norm. Like on your bills, you will write the amount you want to give. Sometimes they will put it in percentage. And in some places, those things are compulsory. You cannot say you are not giving tips. You have to give tips. But me, where it is not compulsory, I don't used to give. I don't used to give. It's not like I'm stingy. I'm not stingy, but I just struggle with the idea. So the next culture shock category I want to discuss in terms of education. I realized that in the United States, number one, lecturers are very much approachable compared to the kind of lecturers we used to have in Nigeria. They are very approachable, they are relatable. One of the things also in terms of education is that when you are a student, you start building your grades from the first day of resumption. One thing about it is that the workload they'll give you plenty of assignments like this, and all those assignments are important, that if you miss any assignment, it's almost as if you want to have a B. And in the United States, as a master's degree student, you cannot have CO. You are only allowed, I don't know about other schools, but my own school, you're only allowed to have A or B. In fact, maybe maximum of 2 C's. If you have more than 2 C's, you have to rewrite one of the other courses, like you have failed. So A and B, those are the only things that you can have. One of the things I also like about the education system is that your privacy is respected. For your grades to be released to anybody, you have to sign off on it. Even if they are your parents, nobody can see your grades. So lecturers also try to maintain that discretion as much as possible. So, and everybody has their online portal where you can go see your scores. It's not the one in Nigeria that everybody will go and see their score on the board. You will know who got A, who got B. You will arrange by matric number. So if I know your matric number, I can go and check your score. That doesn't happen in the United States. In my own experience, that's what I experienced. I don't know about other schools, but my school, it's only you that can see your grade. It is only you that can see your grade. So that's one of the things that got at me in terms of education. Another thing that got at me in terms of education is accents, which I'm still struggling with. Sometimes, the way our own Nigerian accent is, they will not understand what we are saying. So when people stressing their pronunciation and everything, sometimes it's not like they are forming. They need to speak these things that way. You get, though we are speaking English also, but our own English is quite different. You know, number one, we're colonized by British, so our pronunciation is quite different from pronunciation in American English. So many things that we used to say ta ta, here it be d, it be d. There are some words that you pronounce that the t in it has to be silent. Like if you pronounce it differently, you might not understand what you are saying. So as much as possible, you need to like blend your pronunciation, you know, blend it with theirs so that they can understand it. So it's one of the culture shock that got at me, part of the experience that I had. Still also in terms of education, maybe not education, but just generally, one of the culture shock experiences that I had to deal with and adjust to is in terms of writing dates. Till date like this, see today, I still make that mistake. You know, in Nigeria, we would write day, month, year. Here it is month, day, year. So when I came in, I realized I was always making that mistake. So I would just pause like, okay, Tosin, it's not like that, it's this. Yeah, and by the way, my name is also Tosin. So I call myself Tosin actually. So I would not like, no, it's not like that. It is month, day, year. So it's one of the things that got at me. Next category I want to discuss is in category of environment and weather. One of the things I've said about the United States is that different states have different peculiarities. So if you are going to a state, you need to also understand what is happening in that state before you go to that state. You get, like in terms of weather, they can be very different. Like I currently live in Seattle. I schooled in Texas. Texas and Seattle are two opposites in terms of weather. The weather in Texas is quite cooler, like especially in summer you enjoy yourself. Or even in winter, the weather is quite bearable. But here in Seattle, we are in the northern region, so things are quite excessive, like cold. The cold here is it's excessive. That's what I would call. Like in Texas, I feel like Texas is still bearable. Also in terms of this weather is time zone. There are different time zones within one country. Unlike in Nigeria, everybody is in the same time. 8 o'clock is 8 o'clock for everybody. In this place, some people are 8 o'clock, some people are still 6 p.m. Some people are already 11 a.m. So it's just like when you have an interview or you have a meeting with somebody, you need to check the time zone. That's one of the things you need to check. When somebody gives you a time for a meeting, you have to check what time zone is this person, because the person might be in Eastern time and you are in Pacific time. So coping with time zone is one of the culture shock experiences I had to face in this United States. Also in terms of that weather, like around summer, you can have daylight to like maybe 8-9 p.m. Like here in Seattle, around 9 p.m. when you go out in summer, you will still think that the time is like 4 p.m. whereas it's already 9 p.m. But the opposite is the case in winter. Winter like this, 4 p.m. everywhere is already dark. And in winter, it's easy to get depressed and confused. In fact, lazy, because you will feel like it's already 4 o'clock, it's time to go and sleep. Or your mood is already just down, you are shutting down, you know, because you feel like everywhere is dark. It's time to shut down for the day. It's time to go and sleep, no more work and all of that. But the time is probably still like 4 p.m. So the best thing is keep your watch close so you are sure of what the time is. You cannot judge the time by the weather. Before I go ahead, I just wanted to remind you again to please subscribe to my channel. If you have not subscribed till now, please, what are you waiting for? Please subscribe and support me. Another culture shock experience that I've had in the United States is in terms of privacy. This is one of the things I actually love about the United States, that people respect each other's privacy. Like when you're doing things, you need to take into account that you have neighbors. You cannot play loud music anyhow. Before you know, they can call police to come out, you know. In fact, if you are living in an estate, say in a rented block of apartments, those ones will call the estate manager. Before you know, they will give you a call. You are disturbing them. But in Nigeria, you will see that somebody gave birth or they want to do one party, they will clear the entire street like this. They will not be playing loud music. That one is even too much. If you are staying in a place whereby you have a church beside you or you have a mosque beside you, like when I was living in Nigeria, we had a church beside us. Let me not even go into that one. You people understand how it happens. But here, that cannot happen. You will be reported. And you cannot talk about somebody's lifestyle here. It's not your business. That one that Yalagbaja will see somebody coming down the road and all of them will be opening their eyes like that and saying, you know those, especially if you live in all those local areas. I used to live in all those areas, so that was one of the things I used to find very annoying, how people would not mind their business and just be poking nose up and down. This one, everybody respect themselves. Like you are locked inside your house, nobody cares. It's you and your family, it's you and your God, whatever you want to do. It's your life. Another culture shock experience that I've had is something they call Southern hospitality. I've seen this happen so much in Texas, and that is where maybe you see an American greeting you, just smiling or leaving the door open for you. Like when they see you coming behind them, they can hold the door for you to pass. I'm like, hey, people are nice. So like when I first got into school, that was one of the first things I noticed, how somebody will go in ahead of me and will hold the door for me to pass. They will leave the door open for me to pass. But me as a Nigerian girl, I will close the door regardless of whoever is coming behind me. But it was later I now understood that, oh, these things seem to be part of their way of life. Like they leave the door open for you. For me, I don't think I ever experienced that in Nigeria. Did you ever experience that? Another thing is in terms of how they greet. Sometimes you find someone kind of just smiling at you. They smile at you and you'll be wondering, why is she smiling at me? But they're just greeting you. Because the funny thing is, by the time they smile at you and they look away, they have their normal looks on. I just realized that that's part of the way they greet. That's just their own nature, you get. So it's not a big deal to them. And so because of that, I also learn to smile. Though in some places you need to be careful, you get. You watch your environment and be careful. Another culture shock that I've experienced in the United States is in terms of how homes are built, especially in different states in the United States, different regions, because they have different weather conditions. Their homes are built differently. That's one of the things I've observed. Like when I went to Florida, I observed that their homes there are built with blocks and cement like we do in Nigeria. That was the first place I ever saw in the United States that they built houses with blocks. You know, United States, most of the homes, they are built with planks, with wood and all of that. But when I went to Florida, it was not the same. Also in terms of that, in Seattle, like most houses don't come with air condition. They mostly come with heater. If you want to do an air conditioning system, you can do it on your own as an add-on. But in Texas, that is a default. You have your air condition, you have your heater, because you know the weather condition in Texas, you can either have it hot or very cold. But in Seattle, it's mostly cold. So that's why so many houses you might not need to use an air conditioning system. And heating system is what you would need. Not all places in America are fine. You know, just the way we have Victoria Island in Lagos, all those Lekki side that are fine in Lagos. So and we now have all those Ajegunle, we have all those Ablegba, sorry, all those other sides. You know, all those areas in Lagos that are not so fine. I feel like there are some places in this United States that are like that. I traveled to one place one time and I saw ghetto. And I know that there are still some worse ghetto than the ones I saw. There are still some worse ghetto areas than the ones that I saw. Not everything in the United States is perfect that some people would imagine it to be. So let your expectation be modest. You can see the good, bad, and the ugly. Please. So that's it, guys. These are just few of the experiences I could pen down to share with you guys. I'll probably do an updated culture shock experience video later, like I said in the first video. Culture shock, I don't think it will end anytime soon, because the more you travel, the more you interact with other people, the more you live here, you begin to see different things and you pick the ones that are good for you and you leave the ones that you don't want. So I hope that you have enjoyed this video. If you have enjoyed this video, don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe as well if you have not. Once again, thank you to everyone that has gotten me here to 1K subscribers. Thank you for hanging out with me. I will see you in my next one.